Hi, I'm Lisanne Miller with W, Cushing and Company, and this is November's Third Thursday with Lisanne. This is in conjunction with Rug Hooking Magazine, and I hope that you got your Celebrations magazine. If not, you really need to order it. It's a wonderful magazine filled with artwork, but also they're looking for submissions for next year's celebration, so be sure to get your rug in. So, this is November. We're thinking of the holidays. So we're going to start looking at winter colors. And we do snowmen, snow scenes, holiday pictures. So we're going to go through some different options for winter whites, maybe not winter white, and to embellish but not overdo for the holiday season. So we're going to start with our grays. And a lot of times people overlook gray for snow, just like they do with light blue or lilac, which we are going to go through. But these are what I'm going to call a nice set of grays, ramped up with a cream that has silver sparkle in it. And the silver sparkle, I get a lot of questions all the time. Yes, you can cut the silver sparkle in your cutter without a problem. So what we have here is gray hair, because it is a herringbone, and also it has a little bit of brown, okay? This is silver fox. Here is a beautiful gray on gray, which is the lightest of the three. And then here is your glistening snow on top. Now, if you're going to do something like a Santa beard like we have over here, on a Santa beard over here, I've used two different colors and swirled them together so that I can create some dimension but not let it overpower Santa's face. And in this case, the two that I would use for a beautiful Santa beard or a beautiful snowman would be these two. These two would work perfectly together. They make a nice, there's some motion, there's not a lot of contrast, but it just adds enough motion. You could also go, since this does have the gray, you can work this with the silver fox. So these are really good textures to use for your winter whites. There is this texture as well, which is called Snow Day. Snow Day has a lovely texture on it. It's a little bit lighter. And here it is with pewter plaid. This is pewter plaid. This is Snow Day. This would make a more defined beard or a more defined snowman. And it also goes very well with silver fox. So these would work in snowmen, Santa Clauses, and snow scenes for textures. And textures make nice snow. And if these are the colors that you're looking for a scene or a snowman or Santa's beards or cuffs, then this would be a great pile. If you look at all these together, they go really, really well. And this is in the gray vein without using dyed wool. So here is your textured winter grays, winter whites. So maybe you don't want to use winter whites. You're more of a cream person. So you would like a little more cream. Well, this is peachy keen and a lot of people would overlook it. But we have to look at how this is going to hook. And this does not hook the way it looks flat. It has little pieces of color, and the little pieces of color add to the winter scene. Here is Rosie, and Rosie is again another cream. This also, if you're doing winter scenes and you need rosy cheeks, you need children's cheeks, you need rosy cheeks in a Santa, Rosie works really well. But again, it's another avenue if you want the creams. In other words, sometimes you don't want a flat background, and I got to pull this out because it's on the bottom. There we go. And so here is a stocking. And I used a texture, but it is flat for the stocking. If this had been available, I would have used the Peachy Keen because it picks up the soft colors that I used in the Bluebird stocking. So if you can see, this looks really, really good, especially with the flowers, but just adds a little bit. And this is a green, but next to the blue, it does turn blue. So it's a good background for stockings, for wreaths, etc. and a good thing to add on for a creamy background. Another creamy background that you can use is this bundle. While this is a great overdyers bundle, it's also really nice for creams. You can add in the peachy keen for a lighter. This would become your golden color, and this would become your defining color. So thinking outside the box, you don't want winter whites, winter grays, you want more cream, then these would be great colors for you. And to use the creams, again, we're going to go to the Joy Wreath. And these are traditional red and green colors. It's a traditional British robin. So we could have used this, or you could have gone with creams for this because of the burgundy being as deep as it is. So using traditional greens, using burgundy, I could have used the peachy keen. The rosy's a little dark, but you could have mixed and matched from here to give it just a tad motion, but not take away from the overall wreath. So we don't have to use just a flat cream. So also we like to use blue. I like to use blue. I tend to use a lot of the lighter blues this time of year. And again, we're only working in textures. We're going to work in dyed in a little bit, but we're only working with the textures right now. And I really like the blues. I like Head in the Clouds, and I like it with Gray Day. Now, Gray Day is a real deceiver of a wool because it will change. It's a chameleon. It will change by what you put next to it. So if I was to go back and get one of our grays, which I'm going to do, I'm going to get Silver Fox, and I'm going to take Head in the Clouds away. Look how gray this wool gets. This wool gets very, very gray. So you can put it as a light blue in your grays or use it with your light blue. When I use blues in my holiday rugs, I do like to use the sparkle. I do like the sparkle in there, but I also like to use dyed wool with the blues. This is Frosty, and these would be the lines in the snow, and this would be the snow, or this would be the sky, and these would be the snow right here, sky and snow. So with the light blues, I like to really introduce some of the dyed wools. You can also use snow. This is snow. And now all of a sudden, did you see how much this is now cream? Not as white as it looked before. It's creamer than it was. You can still see the sparkle, and it goes very well. This is snow with Gray Day and Head in the Clouds. And these three start a beautiful winter scene. If you like a little more color, you would go with Frosty. Now, because it has the blue and the gray, you can also tint it a different way, and this is Fall Hydrangea. So here, this would probably be your sky, this could be your snow, or vice versa, because Fall Hydrangea also makes a winter sky to go with snow. So if we went back to this as snow, Fall Hydrangea becomes your winter sky. So when you go into the different colors like the blues and now the plums, that is where your dyed wool will come in to re-emphasize. Another color wave for winter hooking not to overlook are the plums and the lilacs. And these three really, really go well together. We have Frosted Plum, Lilac Stripe, Lilac Herringbone, or Orchid Herringbone. So we have a herringbone that is lilac and orchid, lilac stripe, and then Frosted Plum. These three would make a beautiful, beautiful holiday scene. And again, you can introduce this with the sparkle. You can introduce, because there is shades of just a tad of lilac, snow. The Fall Hydrangea is going to jade it a little bit too much, and notice how green this now becomes. So that is not a good one to put with it. However, we can go back to our Snow Day texture and add that in for a wonderful look. So this is a more contemporary winter hooking. It works. It works well together, and if it's not your normal palette, this is a nice palette to try on a smaller piece. Let's talk about winter greens. There's a lot of winter greens that can be used, and you have to know when you pick your greens what you're going to do for your snow. So these are just 3 of many greens. This is a sage plaid. It's a duller green. So if you're going to put trees in with this, and it has, look at the lines that are in here, pay attention to your texture. You've got a blue and an eggplant. So you can come in here back with the blue. I'm going to put the snow by it. This is a little light. But if I come back here with my blue, head in the clouds and gray day, all of a sudden this isn't as dull. So this is a great winter green. It is a duller green, but it has just a little bit of motion. It makes great holly leaves. It also is a great border for a winter rug. Our other greens are more traditional. This is Irish Eyes and this is Green Zinger. The 2 of them together have enough difference in value to use for a holly leaf, to use for pine trees, and these 2 are what we'll call traditional greens, and they would go with your blues, they'd go back with the grays, they go with the dyed wool. So these are what we'll call safe bets for your greens. And if you don't have a lot of greens in your stash, they're good greens to keep in. So when I go back and I put pewter plaid, this, and even silver fox would go, we're getting in a more traditional color. And even these together, this could be the sky, the trees, the snow, and a lot of times we add gold during the holiday season. And gold can go one of 2 ways, really calm or really brassy. This is barley. And barley is a beautiful gold to add into this holiday, your holiday hooking, your holiday color palette. You have the gold in pewter plaid, you have the gold in Irish Angel. And so it's not competing with anything. This barley has a little bit of blue in it. So this, we are really building a traditional holiday palette, which looks very, very lovely and is a good starting point for your rugs, whatever you may be hooking. Even if it's a snowman, when you need a hat and a scarf, this can be a background. No matter what you're hooking, this is a great holiday palette. If I were to reintroduce Snow Day, it would be a bit brighter, okay? And maybe a bit too bright for the palette, but if you like a little bit brighter, Snow Day can be introduced into that. Next, we're going to add in a cranberry. We have cranberry on cranberry stripe, not a red, and the reds will also dictate what you use. So this is a cranberry. You have 2 tones in there. You can split it. You can hook it and sculpt it. It works really, really well together. It goes with your greens. It doesn't fight the golds. It goes with the blue. It goes with everything. Now, since we put in a brighter color, I'm going to bring back Snow Day. So if I bring back Snow Day, now it's not as bright because I've used a deeper color with the cranberry on cranberry stripe. Also, it would allow you to take these out because it is a deeper color and bring in Silver Fox. So if you bring in Silver Fox, notice it's turned bluer. Here's your barley, your gold, and here's your red. So here's another palette that works really, really well together in textures. Yes, you can add in your dyed wools, your dyed snow. You can add that in. That would go. And in this case, if I were to put fall hydrangea down here, it does work as well. So what you pick for your reds or your greens and your gold do affect everything else. Now, suppose we're doing a night sky. So we're going to add another layer. The next layer is your blues. This is After Midnight. After Midnight is a tone-on-tone dark blue. You can cut it in 2 different sizes, like a 5 and a 6 and an 8, to make it look like you've got 2 different wools going on, and it would work really, really well. Or you can pair it with a dyed wool to make almost like a twinkle sky. We have a dyed twinkle that we would put with it, and I'm going to grab it right off the wall right now. So here is twinkle, and twinkle with After Midnight works really, really well together for a winter sky. This can be your winter snow, and then this can also be your winter snow. So things change by as you add everything. This is Nantucket Blue. Nantucket Blue also would work for a sky. It also works with everything else that we have here. And again, we can't forget what we started with down the bottom. So here is another winter holiday palette. Embellishing. You can embellish, this is the time of year we tend to embellish. And there's some calm embellishments that we use. And we've gone over how to hook these before in previous Third Thursdays, so you can look them up. These are the Arctic Rays, but you don't have to have the white Arctic Rays all the time. So how do you know what an Arctic Ray is going to look like when you hook? You look at it this way. You see a hint of color. This is the concentrated that you don't see. You hold the card to its side, and pink is used if you're going to use the lavenders that we talked about. If you were using fall hydrangea, you could use this as the glisten in the snow. Gray works really well, of course, with the grays that we have picked, and the cream works exceptionally well with the cream that we had picked. So here is 2 velvets. We like to use velvet yarns. This has a glitter in it. This is a cream for those cream or grays. If you wanted to add something, if you had to add cuffs to a coat of a vintage postcard, if you had to add to a Santa, if you had to add the cuffs around the boots and to the mittens, the white would work as well. The glitter just adds a little bit of a touch. It's barely recognizable, which makes it very, very attractive without overpowering. The last is our glitter yarn, and the glitter yarn has 2 particular colors that work. This is the snow color. It is a flat cotton, and we have shown how to hook with it. But you can actually use this with your snow. You can use it to bind. You can use it to add things into your winter rugs. And it is a continuous, there's no seam. It's only the 2 end cuts. Now, ice is always important this time of year when you're hooking, or shadows in your winter rugs. And this would also put in a shadow or ice into your winter rugs, or blades on a skate. So here are some examples of using, I know we all like to see the rugs. Okay. So here is testing. Now this is a moon, of course, but here is textures. There's gray, there's purple, everything in one spot. And this allows you, if you've hooked a piece like this or something similar, to pick out what you like, what would go, how the glitter works in. This was on dyed, wool was dyed with glitter, and just how to accent and look to get motion. So that's one example. The second, as you've seen before, is the skates. And this is a combination of blue, the head in the clouds blue, some snow, and this is mother of pearl in the background. It's a little bit of a cream. So I've used the blues and the snow, used the grays, but then went to a cream to set it in. Another good test to see if you like the color palette. Our Charles the Snowman, well, here is where we could have used a little bit more of the textures that have come in, but we broke it up with what was there at the time. You could use Peachy Keen. You could make him a gray with silver fox, pewter plaid. He would be absolutely adorable. I did want to show you what the Arctic rays look like and how they're added. This is snow on the pine cone and snow on the boughs. It's just a little bit added to it. This happens to be the cream Arctic rays because of the greens and the red that I used. So you can also sculpt with what we talked about today. And one fell on the floor, so we're going to pick that up. And in here, this has many different layers to the snow. Because I used traditional colors, I used a brighter blue for the sky, which you can use. I sculpted the snow over the doors and the windows. I used a lot of gray down here to make the lines and the tracks to the door, which allowed me to put the gray into the steps. So you balance it all out in the end, and you just pick and choose, but you set your palette ahead of time so that you don't have anything that's out of character or too bold or not bold enough. So I hope that you've enjoyed your winter hooking for today. We do, and I know a lot of you have asked, we do have the furs back in, and there is of course, there was another third Thursday where I went over the fur. And so fur is another thing to add. If you're going to do a skater or a vintage postcard, you can actually add that as well. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope all of you have a wonderful Thanksgiving and a start to the holiday season, and we'll see you in early December. Bye for now.